My fellow cyclists, how you doing? I would implement mandatory insurance and road tax for all the cyclists out there, because the way they drive like they own the road. If you own it, you gotta pay for it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Automotive Stable. I'm here with another video this week. Now, it's a little bit of a different one. It's more so sitting down and answering questions. So basically, there's gonna be 50 questions and there's gonna be 50 answers from me. This is just to give you an insight of how I feel about certain things, how I think about certain cars, about certain manufacturers, etc. It's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I appreciate all cars. I'm a great car enthusiast. If you have a good car, you look after it. I appreciate that. I never hate on cars. This is just going to be a very casual video. So, without further ado, let's get on with the video. Mercedes. If you asked me some time ago before I actually got Mercedes, it would have been BMW. But as for now, Mercedes. Black. Most of my cars have been black. For me, coupe. You can make the car more stealthy, you can make the car more aggressive, and just has more presence on the road. So if I had to choose one overall, it would be coupe. I won't say where, might have been Germany on the unlimited motorways, but it's 156 miles an hour in my BMW E92. Volkswagen Golf Mark IV. Amazing car, memories. Lamborghini Aventador. My favorite car, the pinnacle of supercars, Lamborghini Aventador. As a child, I had two dream cars, one being the supercar Ferrari F430 and the other being the normal car BMW E46 3 Series. Without a doubt, Italy and Switzerland. Best place to go out and drive. It's been proven by Top Gear, it's been proven myself. I've been there. Best driving roads, Italy and Switzerland. Tints. For me, mean and aggressive. I passed my driving test when I was 17. I'm 25 now, so that means I've been driving for 8 years. Since passing my driving test, I've owned 8 different cars. Also komm schon, Mann. Es kann nur Mercedes-Benz sein. Mercedes-Benz, obviously. It has to be BMW, doesn't it? The best driving machine out there. The way it hugs the road around corners, sticks to the ground, the best car to drive. Well, it's a sad future. What else can I say? It's going to be a world full of Priuses. How does that look? Not too good. But the Porsche Taycan and the Audi e-tron GT RS have really grabbed my attention. I think if that's where the world is heading, obviously the whole part of the car's been electric, I'm not okay with, but if this is where they're going to head, then it's a better direction to head than heading towards the Japanese electric brand of sides. For me, Volkswagen Golf or Mercedes A-Class. Both of them you can modify, make them look really good. You can get them in smaller engines, cheaper insurance, but at the same time you can make them look very aggressive and very out there. Every car enthusiast's favorite question. For me, Lamborghini Aventador, a Range Rover SVR, a Rolls-Royce Wraith, and a Porsche 911. And if I could fit another car in there, that would be the Mercedes S63. The perfect garage. When I was growing up, it was the Ferrari Enzo. I might have seen the Bugatti Chiron, but I can't exactly remember, so I'd say the LaFerrari. The best road trip so far has been in my Mercedes when I drove all the way from London to Positano, Italy, on the way stopping in Frankfurt in Germany, Munich, Austria, then obviously arriving in Sorrento, Rome, and then Positano. It was more than a 3,000 mile road trip combined. So it was a great road trip, one of the best that I've done. If I really had to choose one, I would say aesthetics, because You know, you'd rather make your car look good than have a lot of power and not being able to drive anywhere on these British roads. So for me, aesthetics. Manual all day. Definitely Dubai. I mean, here in London, you have to go to specific places, specific times to see some nice cars. In Dubai, you're more than likely to see them everywhere. I've been there myself. I've seen the whole car scene. It's crazy. My BMW E92 M Sport, it was fully blacked out, lowered, rims, tints, everything. It just looked very aggressive. Some would say it looked like a drug dealer's car, which is why I got pulled out numerous times by police, you know, all the time. So yeah, my BMW. This might be an unexpected one, but my Peugeot 207 GTI. It's one of the nippiest, fastest, the most like tuned modified cars I had, and the way I made it look was just amazing. So yeah, the Peugeot 207 GTI. Has to be Top Gear, the old Top Gear, not the new one, and obviously the Grand Tour. Richard, Hammond and May, the best trio there is. No one. Clarkson, Hammond and May, the legends, and legends don't get replaced. I've grown up watching these three guys, and because of these guys, my whole passion about cars has gone from here to about here. So they are legends for me, and you don't replace them. My favorite YouTubers: Ed Bolian from WinWiki, Yanamize, DMO, TGE, and maybe Matt Armstrong. Those guys are just on top of the game. I love watching the videos, very entertaining. It will have to be DMO's E63S. It's amazing car, man. It's an inspiration for my own Mercedes E-Class. Amazing, amazing. He's got it bang on. And TGE's Lamborghini Aventador SV that he used to have, the yellow one. Both of them perfect garage. Yes, I wrapped my Audi A4 in matte military green. It just came out perfect. I've done a video on that. I'll link it here. Go check it out. But it was amazing. Got a lot of attention. It was well worth it. Don't get me started on that Paris, in France. If you've driven to Paris, you will know it just feels like there's no rules. Everyone's driving the way they want to drive. It's crazy. So Paris, definitely. And I'll also say Belgium, both of them. Of course. Yes, I did. Nah. Nah, not really into that. But I did name my Renault Clio that I used to have Bumblebee, because it was all blacked out with two yellow stripes going across it. This name just came about. But normally I don't name my cars now. If you haven't already gathered by watching most of my videos, it will have to be a Prius. That concept just isn't for me, and most of my car accidents have involved Priuses, so they're not that lucky for me, I'd say. The one, the legend, Michael Schumacher, or Michael Schumacher, as you should say. When I did the Italian road trip in my Mercedes, I drove down to Maranello, Italy. That's where obviously Ferrari was born, and that's where all that's the Ferrari home ground. And over there, in different places, they have Michael Schumacher's memorabilia. It's a very amazing place to be. I'll be making another video on that in the future. But yeah, for me, that person is Michael Schumacher for sure. Fast and Furious, of course, Paul Walker, and Gone in 60 Seconds. I'll give you three, okay? 20 miles per hour driving zones, cycle lanes, and the legal limits for window tints. My fellow cyclists, how you doing? I would implement mandatory insurance and road tax for all the cyclists out there, because the way they drive like they own the road. If you own it, you gotta pay for it. For me, it definitely has to be the 1967 Shelby GT500, Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Beautiful car, no other car like that has been made until now. Just very, very classy. And also the Mercedes 300 SL. No. I think for me, cars are the most beautifully engineered machines. They allow a very unique human connection with them if one really understands the reason behind their existence, reason behind the existence of motor vehicles. The Ferrari LaFerrari. This car, I think if it wasn't for the speed, it wouldn't have that royal heritage within cars. And I'll say that's Bugatti, Veyron, Bugatti Chiron. For me, they're a little overrated because obviously if you can afford them, it's a dream come true. But the whole concept of the Bugattis being the best cars, I don't think so. Yes, the speed factor is there, but that's the only most advantageous factor they have over other manufacturers. So yes, for me, Bugatti is a little bit overrated. That has to be the Mercedes S63. I mean, it's the best of both worlds, supercar, family car, everything that you can think of that's out there, motor vehicle wise, the top-notch stuff. Put that together in one vehicle, and that's the Mercedes S63 for you. It's the best of, the automotive industry for me. And I think it's a little bit underrated because of the Aston Martin Vantage, the new one, surprised me in real life because when I actually saw it with my own eyes, the car is much, much, much smaller than how you actually perceive it to be when you see it on social media or online. It's a much, much smaller car, so that obviously, surprised me a little bit when I saw it in reality. I mean, it has to be Ferrari, right? If you don't know, Ferrari Enzo once said that the reason the Ferrari has that, prancing horse, the black horse as, the logo is because Italy's most iconic, fighter pilot at that time, I think World War I time I'm talking about, was Francesco Baracco. Unfortunately, he died, I believe, in 1918 or something. His plane featured at that time wasn't the Ferrari logo, but it featured the prancing black horse. And I believe a couple of years later down the line, Ferrari Enzo ended up meeting his parents. He said it would be an honor if you could use that symbol as a car that you're going to be manufacturing. So he did that. Most memorable moments with my cars will have to be one, obviously, when I modified the Audi and I went down to Wales and went down to Isle of Wight, summer, roof down. It was just an amazing atmosphere with myself and my wife. Secondly, the 3,000+ mile road trip that I did from London to Positano, Italy on my Mercedes. The first time I went abroad was when I had my BMW E92, so that's another great memory. And obviously the one where I visited Maranello in Italy on my Mercedes in my Italian trip is one of the best experiences I had. This, the city where Ferrari was born. I'll give you 3 cars: the Mercedes CLC, the BMW 5 Series GT, and the Chrysler Cruiser. I don't know what these manufacturers were thinking when they came out with these cars. For me, like I said, my opinion, but for me, these cars are just one of the ugliest cars to have ever come out. If you're a car lover, a car enthusiast, it's definitely miles per gallon. If you're someone who just drives because they have to drive, then it's probably going to be the miles per gallons for you. But for me, it's miles per gallon. Okay guys, so this brings us to the end of 50 questions. I hope you enjoyed my answers. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, help me get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week with another video. Until then, logging out. Bye bye.